The Celestial Alliance was dying. Admiral Ji-eun stood still inside the command room of the Eternal Harmony, watching entire star systems turn black. Her once proud civilization had ruled space for over 3,000 years. Now only a few lights blinked. On the star map, remnants of fallen worlds, each one devoured by the monsters called the Void Swarm. They weren't just losing. They were being erased, and the help she had called for? It finally arrived, but it was not what she had expected. Hook. Help did come, but not the way they imagined at first. Ji-eun thought she had made a mistake. The humans who answered her call didn't look noble. Their ships were ugly. Their soldiers were loud. Their commanders swore, laughed, and shouted during meetings. Didn't speak with peace. They spoke with fire. Captain Dong-wook of the UE Retribution was the first to step onto the Eternal Harmony. He was not tall or graceful. His armor was scratched. His face had a long scar. He walked like someone ready for a fight. Beside him stood Sergeant Mi-sun, a ground commander. She didn't bow or smile. She lit a small cigarette and asked, "Where are the bugs?" "The Void Swarm," Admiral Ji-eun corrected. "They are. They do not fight like any known force. They kill everything, right?" Mi-sun asked. Ji-eun nodded slowly. "Yes, they don't retreat. They don't talk. They don't think like we do." Mi-sun cracked her knuckles. "Good, neither do we." The STRATGY in the war room, Ji-eun showed them the past battles. Alliance ships moved in beautiful patterns. Their energy beams sliced through space like music, but they always fell. The Void Swarm didn't follow rules. They just swarmed like ants eating ships, planets, people. "Your fleets are perfect." Dong-wook said, "That's the problem." "What do you mean?" "They're too perfect," he explained. "War isn't perfect. War is dirty. You want clean battles. We fight in the mud." Mi-sun laughed. "When they land on a planet, you run. We set it on fire." Ji-eun stared at them. "But you're human. How do you fight something that feels no fear?" Mi-sun grinned. "Easy. You make them fear something worse." The first ALT, the joint fleet of the Celestial Alliance and Earth, launched the next attack near the star system of Solon 5. It was a trap. The Void Swarm rushed in with millions of bioships black, pulsing things that screamed through space. Humans didn't move in harmony. They exploded into chaos. Their ships flew in strange patterns. Some looked like they were retreating only to turn and fire missiles into the center of the swarm. Others broke formation and rammed enemy vessels on purpose. The Alliance officers panicked. "They're breaking all protocols," shouted one captain. Ji-eun kept watching, and then she saw it. The swarm was splitting. The humans were drawing them apart, turning one giant threat into smaller, weaker groups. Plasma cannons burst. Mines detonated. Human fighters flew right into the enemy clouds and dropped nuclear cores. Void Swarm ships died by the thousands. "Are they winning?" her second officer asked. "No," Ji-eun said. "They're teaching the swarm to fear." The planet of Fiery. After the victory in orbit, a larger swarm moved to take the planet Juno 3. The Alliance had always retreated from planets, but Dong-wook had other plans. "We hold it," he said. "No matter what." The human soldiers dug trenches, set traps, and turned the forests into death fields. Sergeant Mi-sun led ground troops in the dead of night, placing bombs inside the old mining tunnels. The Void Swarm landed in massive numbers. "Here they come," someone shouted. The sky turned black. The soldiers of Earth didn't run. They didn't sing. They didn't pray. They fought. Every time a swarm creature came close, it meant fire, blades, or bullets. When their lines almost broke, humans called in airstrikes that bombed both the enemy and themselves, just to keep fighting. Ji-eun watched from above, shocked. They destroy everything, even their own ground. They don't care about the land, her officer said quietly. They care about winning. The COEST by morning, the planet was nothing but smoke. Out of 30,000 humans, only 4,000 stood. Dong-wook limped through the battlefield, his armor shattered, blood covering one eye. Mi-sun had lost an arm and wrapped it with metal wire. They didn't ask for healing. They asked for coordinates to the next swarm. You lost more than half your troops. Ji-eun said. Dong-wook nodded. Yeah. Do you mourn them? Mi-sun looked up. Of course. But we don't stop. We avenge. Ji-eun had never heard such cold fire in someone's voice. She had seen warriors. But this was something else. This was war made human. The final Beetlee, the Swarm Queen, had entered Alliance space. She was leading a mass the size of a moon. No tactic had ever worked against her. The Alliance wanted to flee. The humans had another idea. We'll sneak in, Dong-wook said. A small team. We blow her hive from the inside. That's suicide, Ji-eun warned. Mi-sun just smiled. That's war. The plan was insane. Drop 5 soldiers onto the moving swarm hive, fight through endless tunnels, plant bombs at the core, and hope the escape ship could catch them. They did it anyway, and they succeeded. The Queen's death cry echoed through space. The hive broke apart. Thousands of swarm ships lost control and fell into suns, moons, and black holes. The galaxy was saved. The 8th. The war was over. Ji-eun stood beside Dong-wook, now a hero to the galaxy. His arm was in a sling, his eyes tired. But he smiled as the Alliance Council thanked him. You came when we had no hope, one elder said. You saved us. Dong-wook shook his head. No, we just did what humans always do. What is? That? We fight the monsters. Even if we become monsters to win. The room went quiet. Ji-eun looked at him. You scared me when you first arrived. He laughed softly. You should have been scared. We're not peaceful. We're not perfect. She nodded. But you were exactly what we needed. Epilogue. The monsters they unegged across the galaxy. New statues rose, not of elegant ships or perfect commanders, but of ragged soldiers with tired eyes and bloody hands. The Celestial Alliance had found its saviors, but not angels, not heroes. They found something more dangerous, more powerful. They found humans. And from that day on, whenever a new terror rose from the dark, every world whispered the same words. Call Earth. Send the monsters.